welcome back to my channel Logic Flow. Well, in today's video, we will be starting with a new series that is Data Structures through C. The most important chapter or important subject, which is data structures. So those who are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so that you can get the notification of all the new videos. Watch the video till the end. Do not skip the video. And if you like the video, please click on the like button and share the video to all your friends. Data structures. So data is the most essential thing that what we require for any task. So for programming, data is most essential. Data plays the most vital role in the whole digital system. Without data, there is nothing. And it is very crucial. So managing this data is very essential for the computer system. So what is data? You all know what is data, what is information. Data is nothing but the collection of raw facts. It is the collection of raw facts. So when we collect the data from the user, we have to store that into the computer system, that is inside the memory of the computer system. So when we say that we are storing the data, which is raw facts, into the computer's memory, how we are going to store it. Say for example, I need to collect the data of the students for enrolling to the course, any course, say it may be the PUC or it may be the engineering course or any courses that what you join. So you provide your data, like you provide your raw data, that is your name, say your date of birth, your address, your contact details, and the course that what you want to join. So all these becomes the raw facts. Say imagine I have collected these raw facts. I have collected the raw facts of say 50 to 100 students. So I have collected their name, their contact details, their address, and the course that what they want to join. And I want to categorize them to different categories. I have to divide, I have to do some sorting of that data. I have to divide the data based on their course. So what I'll do, say I have 50 students enrolled for C, I have 25 students enrolled for data structure, I have another 25 students enrolled for Python. So I just want to categorize like this, means I need to process that. So when I process the data, the major thing that plays a very crucial thing that what we have to deal here is like how we need to process it, and the most essential thing is how we are going to store that inside the computer's memory. That is how we are going to organize it, how we are going to store in the memory. Then next comes how we are going to process it. So we need to think about how we are going to organize the data. So organizing the data inside the computer's memory is the first most thing that what we need to do. After we organize the data, we do the processing of it. Say we put some criteria saying that the course name, if it is C language, then sort all those contents separately. If the course name is equal to Java, separate that content. If the course name is Python, separate that content. So we apply some criteria. So in order to do the processing, we apply some criteria, and based on that criteria, we do the sorting of data. So once the data is processed, what do we get? The processed data is nothing but information. It is information, right? So if that information is correct, we can take a valid decision, right? So we need to have the raw facts stored inside the computer's memory. So we need to organize it very well. If we organize it very well, then it will be easy for me to process that with some criteria. After processing, if that processing is correct, then it will be able to generate proper information, processed data. Data is different, information is different. Data is a collection of raw facts, and information is the processed data. And this information, if it is valid, I can take a valid decision on that. So, for example, I want to check the age criteria, I want to check the qualification of the students to get into a particular course, like that. So, this is how we deal with data. So, data is very much important. So when I say I am dealing with the digital data, means the data should be digitalized in the sense I should know how I have to store the data inside the computer's memory. I should know how I have to organize it. If I know how to organize it, then I can decide how I can process it. Then I can take a valid information with which I can take some valid decision. So data is that raw facts which has to be organized inside the memory with proper structure. So here we should learn that structure which is helping the user to organize the data in a proper way. And that is what data structure. And that we are going to deal with C language. So what does data structure means? It is going to provide a layout, a proper format for better storage of data. The basic thing. What is data structure? Data is the collection of raw facts and structure is the format, a proper layout to store your data in an organized fashion. So you can get some simple definitions like what is data structure. So data structure deals with the study on how the data is stored or organized in the memory and how efficiently it can be retrieved, manipulated, and all the possible ways in which different data items are logically related. So for example, I want to store the detail of an entity. I want to talk about student. So student means I have different data items. I can say student register number, student name, class, section, address, contact number, all those things. So how these data items are logically related to each other, all these things we need to think about. So data structure is the organized collection of data items in simple way. The small definition that what I can say, it is the organized collection of data items. So in order to store the data in an organized fashion, we have different structures, we have different formats. Why we require that structure? Because we have to organize the data in the memory in a proper way. So for example, you take your bookshelf or almirah. You have to keep all your books in an organized way. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to extract that. So that's what I'm saying. How efficiently it can be retrieved. So if I store the data inside the computer's memory in a proper way with a proper format, it will be easy for me to retrieve the data whenever I require. I can retrieve the data efficiently, and if I just want to do some modifications, some manipulations, I can easily do it. So you keep your books in a rack. If you simply dump it like anyway, in a haphazard way, it will be difficult for us itself to pick any required book whenever we require urgently. We have to search everything. Then it consumes more time. Then again it will be in a haphazard way. So it's not good. So if I organize the books in a proper way in my rack, then it will be easy for me to go and pick that particular book very easily and quickly. The same way, if I store the data inside the computer's memory in a proper way, it will be easy for me to retrieve that data efficiently, do the modifications easily, and I can understand how they are related to each other. The data items are related to each other. That is what data structure is going to deal with. So it is going to deal with how the data is stored inside the memory, how it can be easily fetched, and how it can be easily manipulated, and it will be easy for me to understand how they are logically related. In the next series, you will understand this logical relationship, what actually this logical relationship, right? Now, Processing of data like modification, addition, deletion, accessing is not so effective in applications like files. So we all know, see, we store the data inside the file. So when we deal with files, we store the data in different ways. Talking about the files, we have two different types of files. Flat file, the other one is database file. So flat files are the normal files that what we create using editors, text files. It may be the notepad file or it may be the Word document or any other normal files. Whereas database file is the file that what we create using some database applications. We create files using database applications like MS Access, we have MySQL, we have Oracle. So all these are database files, right? So there what we do, we store the data in the form of rows and columns so that it will be easy to deal with the data. In case of the text files, storing the data, accessing the data, modifying the data, deleting the data, everything is quite tedious. Right? Say, for example, you have a Word document with 100 pages. Just imagine if you want to do some modifications, you have to go through many pages. Of course, you have control F to find the particular line or particular word and do the editing work. But it's quite difficult to handle with the number of pages in my documents. But if I talk with database file, which is the file created with some database applications, it will be easy for me, that is for the user, to handle it very easily because all the operations that what we do, it may be adding the data, deleting the data, modifying the data, anything that what we want to do, some processing that what we want to do, everything is done very easily because data is represented in the form of tables, that is in the form of rows and columns. So why we have to talk here about files, I'll tell you. So we have flat file and we have database file. So when I say I need to store my data inside the computer's memory. If I store in the form of a database file, and if I store the data in the form of table, in the form of rows and columns, it will be easy for me to fetch the data. But who is going to help for this particular operation? Who is going to help to perform all the operations of additions, deletion, modification, everything very easily? Who is going to help? So in the background, we have the data structures which is helping to perform all these operations very efficiently. So here comes why we need to learn about data structures. So data structure, I think now you have understood how it is playing a vital role in storing the data inside the memory. Right? So if I have the database file, when I store the data in the form of rows and columns, in the form of tables, so in the background, the data structure will be helping to organize the data very efficiently. So which are those different data structures that what we can learn which is helping to organize the data? So let us talk about the types of data structure. So this is the broad sketch of the classification of data structure. So we have two types of data structure. One is primitive data structure, the other one is non-primitive data structure. Primitive means they are fundamental data structure which operates upon the machine instruction directly. So they operate upon machine instructions directly. They are basic data structure. So what is this operating on machine instruction directly? You all know about the fundamental data types, right? We have studied about the fundamental data types in the C language itself. So you have integer, float, character, double and pointer also. Right? All these are basic data structure where this data structure is already been designed and it is being told to the compiler that they have to act like this only. So for example, if I just say integer, we all know that it consumes how much bytes of memory. So if it is with 32-bit machine or 62-bit machine, depending upon the machine that what we have, it is going to allocate the memory 2 bytes or 4 bytes. So it is going to act upon that machine instruction directly. We the user need not change that. It only act upon the machine instruction, and hence it is called as basic data structure, primitive, fundamental data structure. So these data structure, they directly act upon the machine instructions. We need not do any extra things. But non-primitive, they are called as complex data structure, and they do not operate on machine instructions directly, but they follow the user instruction. So there are different formats where the user is going to use, and the user is going to decide how the memory has to be used. So this is with the primitive and non-primitive. Hope you have understood with this. So these data types we have seen already. So it is going to act upon the machine instruction. The compiler follows the machine instruction. But here in the non-primitive, it is complex data structure which is derived from this primitive itself, but it is not going to operate on the machine instruction. So here comes two types of non-primitive data structure. One is the linear data structure. The other one is the non-linear data structure. So what is this linear data structure and non-linear? The name itself tells you linear means we are going to store the data in a linear fashion. We are going to store the data one after the other. Let us understand in a simple way. One after the other. That is what linear fashion. Say you have the best example is that what you all know. So we are going to store the data one after the other in a linear fashion. But non-linear means we are going to store the data in a hierarchical fashion. That is like a tree structure. That is what with linear and non-linear. So in the linear data structure, we organize the data in a linear fashion, whereas in non-linear, we organize the data in a hierarchy. So we have different linear data structure. We have arrays, stacks, queues and linked list. Whereas in non-linear, we have trees and graph. So this is about the types of data structure. Let us understand every data structure in detail one by one in the next videos. And let us understand the different operations that what we can perform on these data structure in the next video. So that's all for today's video. So in the next video, stay tuned to my channel. So we will be discussing all these topics one by one. So that's all for today's video. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.